and welcome to our.
The sheer volume is the main
Is that a
characteristic.
recording? Now let's stop the recording there.
Velocity is the frequency of incoming
Let's
data
share
to be processed.
my screen.
Variety means different forms of data. Veracity refers.
Okay, let's restart. Okay, doesn't matter. I'll edit this. Okay, now you're writing a test in 2 weeks' time, and that's going to be our focus for this lecture. Let me give you the test date, and all right, let's open up my email. Let's see test date. If there was a problem with it. Focus work. Right. So let's SITH. Right, test date. Control F, BAAI. We are writing the test on. Where's the test? Where's our test date? There's BAAI IoT, right? On the 21st of August. So we basically have, and it's going to be a theory written test, okay? 21st of August. It's an hour and a half test, and I'm going to test you on the following, right? Let's people. Can we mute T Mokwena? Right, I'm just going to mute you. Right, okay. So what's going to appear in the test? I'm going to take the following collab scenario, right? Collab, and we are going to use this as a yardstick to base our test questions. Right, so let's open up collab. Right, so this is the program that we need to, when I say not just rewrite the program, but we need to understand somebody else's program. We are, let's put it to you this way, we are on the verge of becoming data scientists. That's what we're leading up to. Basics in artificial intelligence, we analyze data and we use the data to make a decision. But when we talk about machine learning and artificial intelligence, we are now using the computer to make a prediction regarding data. And in this program that I have, I got it from the web. Here's a programmer who's using cancer data. So this program, cancer.csv, is data of real patients that were diagnosed with having a malignant or benign tumor. And from that data, it used artificial intelligence models to now predict future data scenarios where it can state with a certain level of certainty, proximity to the models and the statistics and whatever it uses to determine whether a doctor needs to diagnose a patient's tumor as being cancerous or non-cancerous. Okay, so this is this program out here, and if you understand all the concepts in there, that's what's going to appear in your test. So for example, in this program, it says pandas, import pandas. I'm going to ask you a question in the test. You are studying to become a data scientist. You are learning concepts in artificial intelligence. We are using a Python library called pandas. What do you understand by the term pandas? Right? First question in the test. Because if you don't understand what is pandas, then how are you going to understand what's going on in this program? Hot tip for the test. I'm recording it. I'm putting it down. Here's the test. There's the question. So let's go to MS Word. Right, so here's a question. Test 1, BAAI. I'm going to state something like hot tips, pandas, right? What do you understand by pandas? And very simply, in Python, a panda stands for panel data. We are using data in the form of a table with rows and columns, an array. And that's what I started with you off in the first semester, all right? So the first thing, a hot tip for the test is pandas. The next thing they talk about is a data set. Data set is equal to pd.read_CSV. So the next thing you need to know in this program is what is a data set. If you don't understand the concept of a data set, you won't be able to interpret and understand this program. Now, we are not going to create the data sets. We are borrowing, we are using somebody else's data set. And the data set that we used was the cancer.csv. Also, what is CSV? CSV stands for? Google it, Google it. You got a phone in front of you, Google it. Google it. What does CSV stand for? Comma? Google. Right, so another hot tip for the test. I want you to, what is a data set? Right, data set. And what is this meaning of the word CSV? Yes? Comma separated values, right? Lovely. Comma separated values. Next one, it says X is equal to data set dot drop, open inverted comma, open parentheses, columns is equal to diagnosis 1 equals M, 0 equals B. So I've went through this program. I've listened to the recording. From this data set, this command says drop the first column. We're not going to use the first column in this program. We don't need it from the data set. Oh, Google, what is the data set? What is the data set? Google it. Data set, because that's partly what you need to know. So we're going to interpret this program, right? Then the next thing it says is split the data into a training set and a testing set. Now, in order for the computer to make a inverted commas diagnosis, when I say diagnosis, I mean diagnosis, it has to have some data to make a decision. So if I give the computer 10 pictures, and in the 10 pictures, this is a creature that has 4 legs, a tail, a head, is covered in fur, right? You're a human being. 10 pictures. Picture number 1, this creature has 4 legs, covered in fur, a tail, 2 eyes, a snout. Picture number 2 has a similar thing. Picture number 3, picture number 4, picture number 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If I had to ask you to make a calculated guess, use your intelligence. And if I give you the 11th picture, what would you, and this picture, the creature has 4 legs, tail, 2 eyes, a snout. I'm not saying a mouth, a snout, 2 ears. Yes, what do you think it'll be? If the 11th picture. Yes. Yes. All right, here, someone says a dog, right? Someone could also say a cat. Someone could also say a horse, because the model doesn't have enough data to make an absolute decision that it is a dog, all right? So that's where we're heading to, where the computer would be able to process a number of images, and we coming up with a decision to state that, listen here, This is a dog. This is a cat. Obviously, the more pictures we have, the more data sets that we use. There I'm already alluding to the word data set. We can make a better decision. All right. So if I showed the computer 200 images and the 201 image, you can say with more certainty that that's what it is. And this is what this program is all about, right? But we're not talking about pictures out here. We're talking about comma separated values, data in the form of a table. Now, the next thing they talk about is this word. I told you data set. The next thing is they're talking about the word sklearn.model_selection import train test split. So in order for us to make a decision whether that animal was or that creature was a dog or a cat, we need to train this machine learning model, this AI model, this whatever it is, so that it can make a diagnosis by itself. That's what we're leading up to. All right. But we can't write the program right now. I haven't taught you enough to do that. All I showed you was Colab. I told you a little bit of artificial intelligence, some theory behind it. And I told you a little bit about Python. And I showed you how to use ChatGPT to take our C++ programs and convert it to Python. Oh, that's a hot tip. We're going to get a Python program, and I'm going to ask you to give me the result of the Python program, right? You're going to trace through the program. Oh, let me put that down as a hot tip. Hot tip for that. So I'm going to, you will be given a program written in Python, and you must determine the output. Right? Oh, Intercourse is here. We're going to go to the lab just now. Right? And you must determine the output. Hot tip for the test on the 21st of August. Right? And I'll give you more tips for the test. Mahmoud, you here? Well done. Thank you for coming. Tell them how hot is my hot tips. My hot tips are very hot. Right? Pandas must come out. I can tell the moderator, I can tell any examiner this. And if they look at my the test paper and they see the word pandas, oh my. Oh, by the way, I got to tell you this joke. So yesterday, I was watching the program Pandas, and I want you to give a simple definition. What is a panda? A panda is actually a bear. You know the small little koala bear, right? So my wife said, "Hey, panda, a bear." She didn't know I'm talking about data science, panel data. You get the joke? Python is a Python library. Yes. Yes. It's not that koala panda bear. It's a joke. Watch, I'm going to have the last laugh when pandas comes out in the test. Hey, some of you. Right. So what else are you talking about? By the way, I take for granted you know what is Colab. Oh, Colab is coming out in the test. So I'm going to ask you, why are we using Colab? What is Colab? What is this processing? I'm not going to ask you how to rename a Colab notebook. Okay. But we need to use Colab. Cool. Right? If you don't know how to use Colab, you're not going to be able to work with this. Because the Python program that I'm asking you to determine the output would be written in Colab. All right? So let's put on another hot tip for the test. Colab. Oh, that should be on the top because all these things, pandas and all of that, Google Colab. Right? Hot tip for the test. So let's go on. Then can you see they talk about a training set and a testing set. So you got to train this program to be able to interpret this data set. And you've got to, well, they talk about an 80-20 split in terms of the test data that you're using and what it can determine if you give it a new, new data. All right. But let's learn the word, what is a training set and what is a testing set. So there's some hot tips for the exam, for the first test on the 21st of August. So let's copy this. So I want you to tell me what is a training set and a training set and a test set. Right? Because you must think about it. This machine, this computer, has to be able to make a decision. Just like I used the example earlier on where 10 images I gave you. I gave you 10 images. That's like your training data. And the 11th one was the one that was, I'm asking the computer to make a prediction. All right? Okay? So we're moving into the realm of artificial intelligence. By the way, machine learning is just a subset of artificial intelligence, right? I don't think we've reached a stage where we can talk about, the Terminator, Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. Oh, homework, you need to watch the movie Terminator. That's artificial intelligence, right? Which other lecture tells you, watch a movie on artificial intelligence? Huh? Which other lecture tells you, keep your cell phone on in class? Which other lecture sends you WhatsApp messages? Huh? Ooh, I'm recording this. I shouldn't be saying that. I take that out. I don't WhatsApp the students late at night or anything of that sort. So, training set versus testing set. Then they also use a model called sklearn model selection, import, train, test, split. So we are importing somebody else's work, some other programmer, clever enough to write this model selection, sklearn, right? If you look at the textbook that I shared with, I not shared with you, I showed it to you, what you need to get, sklearn, right? What is this word sklearn? There's another hot tip for it, right? sklearn. Then they talk about TensorFlow. Ooh, they're using another big word, TensorFlow. What is this thing called TensorFlow? Why do we need to, when I say import it, again, we're borrowing somebody else's work. You remember we did C++ la first semester. We said using namespace standard. If we didn't have the word using namespace standard, we could not use those words C out because it was borrowing from somebody else's work. Please tell me y'all know that. Y'all passed INPR 101. Now you see why I was so worried about all this thing. So you know what is C++. Okay? Good. Then they spoke about a model. There's this word, Keras model. Hot tip for the test. Then they are talking about training this model using all these. And this is where you run the model, right? You run the model. And ultimately, the computer will now, we're not using it on our computer, on our local machine. We're using Google's processing abilities, right? That's why that's the whole purpose of this Google Colab. If you watch my previous video. So it runs it, it runs it, it runs it, it runs it, it runs it. There's about 600 data sets out there. And ultimately, it can tell you that using this model, now you don't have to learn all this. This will run on the model. Ultimately, it's going to tell you, let's see the accuracy here. There's the accuracy. Where's the accuracy? This was written by another programmer, and he run. Ah, there we go. It says it ran it. And there's another line of code. Evaluate this model versus against what was given to the model as a data set and what you'd expect the answer to be using all these, the lines of code above. And it said, hey, guess what? It has a 0.97 probability of being accurate, right? 97% probability. That's pretty accurate for a model. All right, with that data set and training of it. Obviously, the more data we give it, the better it can make a decision. All right, that was image processing of image. So this is this program. I'm going to give it to you in the test. I also found a Python cheat sheet, which will appear in the test. All right, let's see the Python cheat sheet. And I'm going to give it to you in terms of you being able to use that Python cheat sheet. Where's the Python cheat sheet? You're not going to cheat with it. No, right? It's not to cheat. It just has all the data on it. Let's call it a data sheet. Desktop. I copied it last night on the desktop. Python. Oh, it must be in downloads folder. Right, I will give this to you in the test because not everybody can remember all the BAAI. Python. Okay, I'll find that and give it to you. Right, I'm going to find that. I'm going to include that in the test, right? So now you know what's coming out in the test. Let's quickly do a quick revision. Not revision. You're going to talk about, where's my Word document? Right, for the first test to be written on the 21st of August, we're going to talk about Google Colab. I'm going to ask you theory questions because if you don't understand the concept of a data set, learning AI and becoming a data scientist, I feel you can't. And if you listen to other people's programs or you're watching it and you say, where's my program? Where's my data set? Hot tips. Right, there we go. If you don't know what's Google Colab and you can't answer the question, I'm going to ask you a theoretical question. Why are we using Google Colab? Right? What's the purpose of me teaching it to you? What's this pandas? And don't tell me it's a bear. Did I tell you the joke about a computer virus when I was a school teacher? I was teaching them about a virus and an antivirus, and I used the analogy that it's like how we get sick and the computer gets sick, and the student wrote that in the exam. Did I tell you that joke? Okay, that's not a computer virus. A computer virus is a program that, inverted commas, infects your computer and it does weird things to it, like it shuts it down, it restarts it, it eats up all your memory space or whatever. That's a virus, okay? Computer virus. And don't give me the answer about pandas that it is. It's panel data. It's data in the form of rows and columns and all of that, right? Talk to me. What's a data set? What's a CSV file? What's a training set? What's a what else? What's a test set? And what else is coming out in the paper, in the test? I'm going to take from here, artificial intelligence, a PowerPoint presentation, slides with it, right? Machine learning, right? What's machine learning, right? What is artificial intelligence? What is AI? What is machine learning, right? Object recognition. We'll talk about all of this. So let me quickly take some hot tips for the test one on the 21st of August, hour and a half. You'll finish in an hour if you know your work, right? Like what happened in the June paper. If you knew your work, it was a 2-hour paper, people finished in 1 hour. That's okay, as long as you pass. Right, so machine learning. Let's take the definition from a textbook, right? The textbook says machine learning and artificial intelligence are now mainstream business tools. Let's make that into a slideshow. I'll spend the next 10 minutes or so giving you some hot tips for the test. As much as we want to say we're learning all of this that goes with it, but if you don't pass the test 1, and you don't pass test 2, you won't get a DP for the exam. You don't get a DP, you're not going to write that exam. Oh, by the way, this is an examinable subject, not continuous assessments. So this is where your theory questions. I have to have 1 or 2 multiple choice questions out there to make my marking easy. I'm going to take it from here, right? Artificial intelligence and machine learning are now mainstream business tools. They are being applied across many industries to increase profits, reduce costs, save lives, and improve customer experiences. So the saving lives comes about in this program that I was talking to you about, the cancerous cells, whether it can detect whether a cancerous cell is malignant or benign, or the doctor has to remove it, yes or no. If it's early detection, it can save a person's life, right? Talking about reducing costs. Imagine you're now using a machine, a computer, an app to determine whether you have cancerous tissue or not. You don't need a surgeon or a doctor to go and now determine whether it is so, right? They are being applied, right? Next one, organization. Okay, what is artificial intelligence? That's the textbook that was read. I also have a reference textbook for you, right? The objective of this, right? How to work with technical specialists. Remember, I used the word data scientist. I spoke to you. There's it. Data scientists maximize the benefits of these technologies. The technology that we are using as first-year students is Google Colab, and we're using Python programming in order to determine how we learn these data sets and how we import the libraries and how we use the models and how we take the data and we use the models to train the data so that we can make a, inverted commas, diagnosis. AI, a simple definition, we're trying to replicate, we're trying to copy the way a human thinks and in our decision making. Remember when I started off with, I gave you 10 characteristics. I said creature 1 has 4 legs, 2 eyes, a snout, a tail. Creature 2 has 4 legs, a snout, a tail. And ultimately, I didn't tell him, but he came up to a decision that it is a dog, or it could be a dog. But I said it could be a cat as well. It could be a horse. Because a horse has 4 legs, a dog has 4 legs, a cat has 4 legs, right? So the more characteristics I give you, the better you can make a decision. The same thing happens with artificial intelligence. The machine, the computer, the application is trying to mimic the way we think, right? A good AI application can perform as well or even better than the average person. So you can think about it like this. A machine doesn't need to rest. It can work 24/7, 365. A machine doesn't get tired. A machine is not prone to errors or mistakes like the way human beings are, right? Examples of AI in practice. We use AI to identify people's Facebook photos. You can Google uses AI to determine, you can import an image and it will determine whether it is a flower, a tree. It can even determine location, places. Assessing someone's credit worthiness, ability to, a chess player. I told you how to go and learn to play chess, chess.com. I told you I started playing chess. In the beginning, I was beating the computer. But after it learned the way I move, it started to, beat me. And I was a draw, then I stopped playing, right? Let me take you to that homework. Homework. Which other lecture tells you play chess? Which other lecturer? Which other lecturer says play a game? Right. I'm asking you, which other lecturer says play a game of chess? No one, only me. Right, go to chess.com. It's a good one. Then let's play chess in the class. Right? So you go to chess.com. Right. Here we made a few updates. Okay, great for making updates. Thank you. So go and play chess. Right? This is my move. I move. Right? I'm playing the computer. Right? This is my opening moves. I like to move like right. I like to bring my queen out, but I'm not going to take my queen out. All right, let's move. There we go. Right, homework. You play chess. By the way, we can play chess. I got it. Here we go. Ta-da! I think we should suspend this lecture and just play chess for a while now. Okay, so homework, play chess. We're learning using when we play chess, the computer has a whole data bank of moves. And the computer is able to determine how we are playing and anticipate, let's say, to capture a piece or not, right? So one day we both of us, oh, by the way, we can also play each other online. So homework, play chess. Right. Oh, let's get back to the lecture. Right. So there we go, playing chess, digital assistants, Apple Siri. There's my phone. Hey Siri. Let's. Hey Siri. By the way, have you noticed my Siri is a male voice? Hello, Siri. Oh. Hello, Siri. How are you? Siri, I'm doing a live demo. Siri, hello, hey Siri. Hi there. Siri, Siri, don't embarrass me in front of my students. Okay. What are you talking about, Siri? Siri, I didn't ask you to do that. Siri, do me a favor and open up WhatsApp and send a message to my BAAI students. Or is it too much for you to talk, to interpret? Right? Do y'all use Siri? Anyone with the iPhone? Right? Okay.
Sorry, there's something wrong. Let's try again.
That's why I don't use Siri, because it keeps getting Siri. By the way, you notice I got a male voice? You know why? I get too much instructions from the wife in a female voice. My mother, females, all the girls are there. I changed it. Even my Google Maps, right? My Google Maps. Ooh, pause the recording. It's listen to my Google Maps. Y'all use Google Maps? Google Maps? Yeah. Guys, just change it to male. You know, otherwise. Okay, let's go back. So there's your personal assistance. This is what I was talking about. Better at spotting the signs of cancer on a medical scan than an expert or a radiologist. It may be better, but not necessarily so, okay? Traveling from A to B, self-driving cars. Right. So what is AI? What is artificial intelligence? Here you can read all about it, and the bottom out here is machine learning. So I'm going to ask you for a definition of machine learning and versus artificial intelligence, right? What is machine learning? Machine learning involves the use of mathematical procedures or algorithms to analyze data. So this file that I gave you, cancer.csv, is a data file, right? I'm going to show you where to find it. That's homework as well. Find where this data file exists. And we used some sklearn, some models in order to get a determination with a 97% probability of you being right or correct that this cell could be cancerous or not cancerous, right? You will read all of this. I will post this to you. What is machine learning? Machine learning can be applied to examine historical patient records to find the patient's characteristics that correlate with, in our case, the test data that we're using was cancer.csv. In this case, it is heart disease. The predictive model is created from the machine learning process and is used to identify those individuals most at risk. You're no longer brand new first year students. I'm going to give this to you. I'll email it, WhatsApp it to you. You will read all of this. Here's the machine learning example that is from our slides. I'm going to give you the machine learning example for the test from our Google Colab notebook. All right. This is the test data. The cancer.csv file is similar to this. Now, I'm not a medical doctor. I don't understand all those columns and rows. In fact, I'm going to get one of my medical doctors to explain that to us, and I'll record it and I'll share it with you. Because the more we can have a little bit of understanding in terms of what's going on with the program, then we can determine how to use Python, TensorFlow, sklearn, all of those libraries and models in order to understand what's going on. And maybe one of you can use this program to develop an app where you are able to help a doctor, a medical doctor, with a diagnosis, right? So you're going to learn all of that. I'm going to take work questions from here. What is machine learning? I'm going to ask you to define it, right? There's the thing about object recognition. I alluded to that in the beginning of the lecture. I spoke about giving you 10 pictures. Now, you can't make a good decision on 10 pictures, because if I say creature 1 in the picture has 4 legs, 2 eyes, a snout, a tail, we could decide that it is a dog or a cat. But if you give me more pictures and more clues, if I told you that the creature has 4 legs, 2 eyes, a snout, a tail, and it makes a sound like meow, you'll definitely know it's a cat. Right? Right? Yes or no? Like if I tell you there's 5 lecturers, lecturer 1, lecture 2, lecture 3, lecture 4. This lecturer sends WhatsApp messages, he emails the students, he calls the students, he does extra lectures with the students, he uses Google Colab and Python to teach the students. Which lecturer is that? Which lecturer is that? Answer the question. Yeah, me. Right? Okay. So see, can you see how you've used your own intelligence. You didn't use artificial intelligence or any learning model to determine that, right? Okay. There's a story about the picture. The sample contains a lot. Let's read it from the top. The goal of object recognition is to identify what object is present in an image. Example, a photo. The underlying principles are taken. A large sample is taken. We have an object. It has 4 legs, a seat, and a backrest. You'll know it's a chair, right? There's an image of a chair. So you can say, well, you can only see 3 legs out here, but the hidden leg is the 4th one. There's the backrest, there's the seat, and it'll determine that it is a chair. Obviously, after a number of images that we have. Object recognition. If I have time, I'll come to this. For now, I'm just going to talk about a CSV file with rows and columns in it, all right? Because first semester, we did an array, one-dimensional array, and for some lucky people, they had 2-dimensional arrays. Decision tree, I'll talk to you about this in later lectures. But for now, we're going to learn this. We're not going to we'll touch on it. Maybe you can read of it. Read about it. What's a neural network? Oh, this is another nice word in AI, artificial intelligence. A neural network. In fact, the models that they have that we were going to be tested on will use this neural network, right? A neural network is basically being used to, well, the word neural comes from neuron comes from nerves. So I think they're trying to mimic what we as human beings think, right? How we think. You're going to read, right. So this is one set of slides that I'm going to use for your test. You know all your MCQ questions, multiple choice, true and false. It just makes my marking easy, but I don't really like that in our test. I'd like you all to go and write a Colab Python program using all these libraries, right? So I'm going to share this with you. What are the key components of AI machine learning? Data pre-processing, right? This is a nice word, data pre-processing. It comes from, when I say use the garbage in, garbage out, if you put incorrect data into the data set, then the output is going to be garbage. This data set, I'm just assuming that whichever doctor went and tested the 600 patients for the cancer.csv, whichever radiologist used that data set, that they were experts in the field and they did not make mistakes, right? So if I had to take a data set that's faulty, that's incorrect, that's not accurate, that has miscellaneous data, that has missing data, then my output by prediction using my model is going to be incorrect. All right? That's what they're talking about, this pre-processing. What model do I use? What predictive model? I already spoke to you. I used some words, sklearn, TensorFlow, all those thingamajigs, right? And some other models as well. Predictive analysis. Oh, they talk big words. Linear regression. All those words. You're going to have to learn about it because that's what's coming out in your first test. What are some of the rules that we're going to use? And ultimately, what's the output? If I look at this structure, in your first semester, Introduction to Programming, C++, input, processing, and output. Can you see how the first module that I taught you ties in with what I'm talking to you out here? Right? This is, again, the medical example that they used, creating an intelligent application. Read through it. Oh, the other one was speech recognition. I did a little demo now with Siri. This is where they spoke about the accuracy. I gave you the example of a 97% probability, 97% chance that the next diagnosis that model made was correct, right? You must remember, even human beings, we can make a mistake. We are prone to errors. And if we have a data set that we created, then that error is going to be carried across to this machine that we're trying to teach or train to make a diagnosis or a prediction as well. You're going to ethical considerations in, right, this is for reading purposes. Right. Now, I've got an, there's some important terms out here. Big data. What's an algorithm? An algorithm is simply a recipe that we need to follow in order to make a prediction or an output. So in my case, the data set that we're using, you have to first import the data set, get the data set, make sure that the data set is clean. When I say clean, it does not have any missing data. There aren't any values that are out of the range. So let's say, for instance, my data is about your test scores for the first test. All of you will get a mark above 0. If I had to capture a mark and I put on -1, that means something is wrong. If I had to capture a mark that's 110, that's wrong. Now, how can the machine or the model or the application or the program that we're using, where I import this data and the data has incorrect values, like 110%. Nobody gets 110% for my test. Although that's a first. Maybe I have bonus questions, but I can't capture it on the system. Nobody will get negative marks, and none of you will get below 50. If you get below 50, I'm going to transfer from this. Right? Okay. They talked about big data. Ooh, nice word, big data. A large amount of varied, unchangeable data. Now, we're going to use other people's data. They're so kind, they learn giving it to us. We're going to classify it according to a model, and we're going to use a network, right? There's another important slide. Learn these words. Data scientist. That's what I'd love you to learn to become. The name given to someone who does data science. Good data scientists focus on delivering useful solutions that work in real-world environment. I want you to become data scientists. Okay? Y'all are just beginning now. It's called basic course. It's an introductory module. But if today your parents ask you what you did for the lecture, you can say, Dad, Mom, my teacher was talking about me becoming a data scientist. That's what I want to become after I graduate. Well, you can't become now, you're first year, right? Don't ask them, how was the lecture? Don't say, fine, good as usual. That's the answers I get, right? Give them something more. I mean, they're paying for your course. This is an expensive course as well. So tell them you want to be a data scientist, okay? Okay? Right? Make me proud as well. There's some other words that they talk about. Correlation. How does one data relate to another one? So I was watching this YouTube video, and the data that they had was a father's height versus a child's height, or the age of the parent and the age of the child, and what the child would become. They're predicting. Now, how are they related? Father-son relationship, age relationship. Decision rules. Decision rules. What rules do we apply in order to make a decision? Decision tree, a predictive model using an algorithm, and those are the classification. Right, there's another term you've got to learn. Deep learning. Oh, I love this word. Deep learning. Deep learning. Here's the word deep learning. Deep learning. Predictive models using complex neural networks containing large amounts of neurons. We're going to come to that. Right? A development sample, a set of data used by machine learning to construct a predictive model. Our sample was the cancer.csv file. Right? Oh, there's the other word, machine learning. Machine learning is a process of finding features, patterns in the data. Machine learning algorithms derive from research into artificial intelligence and pattern recognition. The algorithm used to train the neural network and support vector machines are two examples of machine learning approaches. There's the definition. I gave it to you as a hot tip 50 minutes ago. A model, a mathematical representation of a real-world system or situation. The model is used to determine how the real world would behave under different conditions. Other words that I'll take from here. Now, I would love to give you all 100% and pass you in the test, but I need to separate you out from the people that have learned and read the notes and the people that are going to understand and comprehend and pass the first test on the 21st of also. Right? Pass it, do well, so that the next test, you do well, you get your DP of 40%, and you eventually pass. I was very happy with my pass rate. I got a distinction pass rate for the first module with my sub results as well. All right? Don't drop it down. But after 3 courses I had, that was the lowest I had. The other ones were 95%, 98% pass rate. But then they were postgraduate students and what have you, right? Other circumstances. Y'all are brand new. I understand. Y'all are first years. I'm taking it nice and slow, but you will get there, right? So, I like, go read through this. You're not high school students. I don't have to hold you by the hand anymore and go through every single term. Another 2 important terms that I will talk to you about is supervised learning versus unsupervised learning. Now, don't think unsupervised learning is where I don't teach you, I leave you to yourself. Supervised learning is where I tell you everything I'm teaching you. I'm talking about it in terms of being a data scientist, being AI students, all right? Supervised learning, the application of machine learning where each case in its sample has an associate outcome which one wants to predict. Read through it, and that's going to be part of your test. Then I'm going to send this to you on WhatsApp. I know none of you were taking notes today. Let's add the document. BAAI, there's it here, right? Right, an introduction to AI. That one. Oops, I sent you the wrong one. File, save as, browse, desktop, save. Sorry, students, I sent you the incorrect PowerPoint. The next PowerPoint would be document, desktop. There we go. Right? This one, an introduction to artificial intelligence. I sent it to you already, but I'd like you to read. Let's go through it. I got 2 more minutes. Oh, no, I don't have 2 more minutes. All right, let's call it a day. Any questions? Questions, queries? This is ultimately what we're going to be covering in this course. Problem solving, planning, searching, knowledge representation, automated responses, and machine learning. We are getting to machine learning. So up until this stage in our course, you should have been through W3 Schools, the Python program. certification. I want that for your test. I must have that certification, right? There's another one on Data Camp. There's another one on Udemy. If you don't understand Python programming, the next couple of weeks are going to be difficult for you. All right? I'm going to set this test really high at a standard where I'm considering it at level 2, level 3 data scientist students, right? CSIR, I watched a training video with them, Council for Scientific Research. They spoke about data scientists becoming data analysts. Okay. Any questions, queries? WhatsApp me. I've got another meeting to attend. Thank you very much. We shall continue this on Monday. Let's stop the recording.